Dr. Parker, you emphasized again and again that you didn't want to focus the youth ministry on deficits that the kids came in the door with, but rather recognizing and lifting up giftedness. Give us an example of the kind of giftedness that you want to recognize and how you would lift it up in a youth ministry context.
Okay. Well, I've talked about discerning leaders, especially in forming community and empowering those leaders. But I also think that, particularly with girls, some don't realize that they have gifts that they can contribute to enrich the life of the community, to the life of a congregation, the life of their school. In addition to that, I think that some girls have not even viewed their bodies as a gift from God that is to be cherished, that is sacred, that is to be cared for. So if we just start with the body as a gift, regardless of what the skin they're in, regardless of what the hair they have, whether it's straight, curly, kinky, nappy, whatever, regardless of whether they're wearing a weave or whatever, if they're anorexic or if they're small or if they're full-figured. I don't think that we've affirmed just them as who they are enough as a gift from God, that because of God's love, they came into being. God put these cells together in a mother's womb out of God's love. And it could have been somebody's experience that the mother tried to abort for various reasons of her choice, and I would affirm that. But it didn't happen. But they were still a gift. And even after being here, and I think I shared with the group earlier today, of having the experience of talking with young women who have been sexually abused by relatives, to move from that experience of being the victim to a place of realizing I am of worth, and because I am simply a person that God loved so much that God created me, is one way of looking at the giftedness of, and affirming the giftedness of young women. But in their particular abilities, as I've talked about discerning who the leaders are, also young women who have never imagined beyond their particular circumstance what they have potential for doing, because they've never been affirmed. There's a song in the African American, I think, gospel tradition about encourage yourself. Sometimes we have to encourage ourselves, but particularly girls who are not in an environment where they get enough atta-girls or pat on the backs need to be given the tools of how to affirm themselves as a gift in body, as well as a gift that they can do certain things. For example, if you have been told for a long period of time that you're just not smart enough, you're just not pretty enough, you're just not, how do you fight back against that kind of demonizing, negative type of things? I would argue that a ministry that gives girls mantras and even a song to sing is a good way to help them think about their own gifts and even to explore some gifts. One of my favorite songs is India Ari's I Am Not My Hair. That song has spoken to me on many levels. It's an older song, but she says, I am not my hair, I am not this skin, I am not your expectations, no. I love those words. Just imagine if a young girl would wake up in the morning realizing that she's got to go to a school that has a high dropout rate, where she's actually seen girls pulled off and molested, I mean, just think about all the horrible things that you've heard on the 6 o'clock news, right? But she has to go to school there, that she has to be ready to confront, resist, and move ahead so that she can actually affirm herself. She might say in the mirror, I am not my hair, I am not the skin, I am not anybody's expectations. No. To get herself ready to go out there and be who she is. I also think that as youth leaders, we have the responsibility for actually trying out some things with young people, not knowing whether or not they can actually handle it. For example, giving them tasks to do. I remember very well a young lady who came to the Perkins Youth School of Theology because her mother wanted to put her in another program that she thought would encourage her. She's a Latina. Little known to us is that this quiet little girl had actually been doing, she was in a business magnet. She was doing accounting work for another organization, and her mother sent her to us. Now, she had no imaginings that she was going to become a minister, but she had skills that we began to understand and explore, but she also had this kind of balance of keeping the group together. I love to tell this story because you know what she's doing now? She went on to become an accountant at Price Waterhouse and Cooper, the first graduate from college in her family. But thanks be to God for a wise mother and father, the other 3 siblings have also graduated from college, one from Southern Methodist University. So, you know, someone tapped into a skill that she had, a gift. And then we had the common sense to kind of tap into the discovery a little bit more. So, and then allow these young people, although she didn't do any bookkeeping for us, but she was a very solid voice that we could depend on, and knowing these skills could really kind of push her along to be who she is now in the financial district in New York City. So let me stop there.